Hi Kenny, this is the second part of your bedtime story from Baleful Beasts and Eerie Creatures. This is Monster Blood by Charles Land, and we will continue. Yuck. I'm glad it's a fake. You will note, the professor said, that the face of the ray has a vaguely human appearance. By pulling and snipping and adding feathers, a length of snake, and a rooster's head, we come up with a pretty good basilisk. So that is a Ginny Haniver, Keith said. I have the most expensive collection in the world. In these boxes are bits and pieces of creatures to be put together. Most are not mounted. You will find it fascinating work. Somehow, Keith's plan was not working out. He had come to see a monster, not to cut and paste a collection of fakes. His glance rested on the steel cage. What's that for, sir? Ah, I almost forgot. That is for the chest. Give me a hand. We will push it into the cage. The chest was a masterwork of intricate carving. As Keith's hand gripped the oak surface, the carved snake squirmed under his palm. The thing was alive. The chest became a writhing mass of serpentine horror. But the professor didn't seem to notice. They pushed the chest up to the cage. Now we lift, the professor said. As they set the chest down in the center of the cage, Keith saw a carved rooster's head on the top of the lid. The beak was open, but completely sealed with wax. There was a brass inscription beneath it. Keith asked the professor what it said. Read it. Ah, I forgot. Boys are not taught Latin nowadays. What a pity. But it's just as well. We have work to do. But Professor Zimbeck, I have to know. Why? The wood snake on the chest came alive in my hand. The professor's eyes radiated excitement. Ah, this is most interesting. Then you, indeed, are the one to know. Any boy can handle the unpacking, but you have sensitivity. You are the one I have been looking for. It is your destiny to be here. Keith became more and more uneasy. Standing in a cage with this strange little man was almost frightening. Professor, how could anyone know what a basilisk looks like? If you see one, you're dead. Even a basilisk cannot look at itself in a mirror, or he's dead. Bright boy, my reasoning exactly. That's why I collect Ginny Hanivers. My search led me to this. The chest? It's not really a chest. It is the carved coffin of the only basilisk in existence. Wow, Keith said. Is it alive? No, but that's why I hired you. You will help make it alive. Wondering how this could be, Keith followed the little man to his workbench. The professor seemed to be searching for something. How did you find the chest, Professor Zimbeck? My studies led me to a manuscript written by a scholar in the 16th century. It was an account of the carved coffin and its basilisk. It took me years to trace it down. But who could capture a basilisk without looking at it? A blind man, said the professor. A blind wood carver carved the coffin. Then, with the help of a wizard, he enticed the basilisk into it. In the lower cabinet, the professor found what he was looking for. He pulled out a pair of dark glasses. A real wizard? Asked Keith. All scientists were called wizards in those days, especially if they worked in the dark arts. This unknown wizard wrote the inscription on the coffin. You said you would tell me what it says, Keith reminded him. The professor polished the dark glasses. Very well. Translated from the Latin it reads, From the cock's mouth remove the wax, then pour in 12 ounces of cock's blood, mixed with 1 ounce of youth's blood. The youth must be between 12 years and his blood freely given. Keith felt his heart pumping like crazy. What happens then? The monster will break out of his wooden cocoon, and we will cage a basilisk. Yeah, but we'll be dead. The professor waved the dark glasses. Not so. These lenses have magic qualities, made in ancient china of ink crystal. They ward off the evil eye. Even of a monster? What eye is more evil than a basilisk's? Keith bit his lower lip and looked straight at the professor, even though he knew the answer. He had to ask the next question. Where are you going to get that blood? The professor flashed Keith a knowing smile. That is not a problem. He went to the refrigerator and took out a glass rooster, half filled with blood. I have ready the rooster's blood. You have ready the youth's blood. He laid down the spectacles and picked up a glass beaker. Won't you give an ounce for science? With your blood, a basilisk will come alive. Is that cage strong enough to hold him? Keith asked. Steel had not yet been invented when the basilisk lived. It will hold him. This will be the scientific discovery of the age. We will have the living wonder of the ancient world. The professor's voice was lilting and persuasive. It's a great moment in life to be 12 years old. This is when a boy sees his own manhood and has a clear view of what is before him. Can't you see the two of us in Stockholm sharing the Nobel Prize? Keith had set out to see a monster, and now fought against his fear. If the price of a ticket was his own blood, he was willing to pay for it. Okay, he said. I'll do it for science.